Hi, everybody! Good to see everyone. How is everyone doing? Let us know in the chat how your week has been and what project you're working on, if anything. But let's see. Okay, Emily, would you mind introducing yourself and your project for us?
Hello, everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Emily. I make content here on AuthorTube. And tonight I'm going to be working on Project Stargazer. I have a couple of what I called chaos notes of a scene that came to me an ungodly hour, honestly, that I haven't converted yet. So that's what I'm going to be working on tonight, but otherwise just working on Project Stargazer, which is my portal fantasy. It's my work in progress. And it gets pitched differently every time. I feel like I'm so bad about pitching it, but it is a magic system inspired by the stars, a triple POV portal fantasy, and it's been a lot of fun. So I'm excited to share more, hopefully when more of it exists. But that is me.
I love it. I love it so much. But I feel you on like the whole pitching thing. That doesn't work for me.
Yeah. I don't know.
I feel like we all have a script that we like all say in our videos. Like, this is my project.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'll go. I'm Amelia. I'm currently working on Eternum, which is the first novel I've ever written. It's a fantasy with lots and lots of political themes. I'm getting my degree in political science, so that's like my bread and butter. Also romance, because how can I not, and friendship, and just lots of like cool magic systems and stuff. So I'm working on that currently. I definitely haven't written in like a week and a half, so that's just the reality. I have, I think, 5 weeks left in my degree. I'm a senior, so I'm like really focusing on that right now. And
oh my gosh, that's so exciting.
Today I'm just gonna try and get back into it. Like I said, it's been a while, so we'll see how it goes. I do also have to work on an assignment that's due tonight, so it's gonna be interesting, but we'll see.
It'll be a fun evening. Thank you. And then, okay, my name is Joy. You're on my channel, right, with Joy, and I just finished the first draft of my own fantasy project, Project Phoenix, which is super exciting. Thank you. Yay! Oh, I can't believe that happened. It's like a high fantasy with gothic vibes and a romantic subplot. But I'm not working on it tonight. So I've already like gone through and done some revision prep. I'm gonna have a video coming out on that this Saturday. But tonight I'm gonna brainstorm the next project that I'm gonna work on like after Project Phoenix, because I'm gonna take like, I don't know, a month or maybe 2 months break from Project Phoenix, but I need something to work on while I'm like not working on Project Phoenix. So I'm just gonna kind of start thinking about a new project, which is really exciting, but also a little bit scary because like I've been working on this one project for a whole year now, and now I'm stepping away from it and trying something new, and it's a little bit like weird to be entering the brainstorming phase again. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
So exciting though. It's so fun. Like, brainstorming is like the fun part, you know?
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. There's so many possibilities. Okay, I want to say hi to some of the people that have hopped on. So Hannah's here. Hello.
Hi, Hannah.
And Ian popped in for a little bit. I think I saw that Miley popped in just to say hi for a second. Margot's here. Tammy's here. Lizzie, Jade, Yanni. Oh my gosh, it's fun to see like all of these like familiar faces. Alyssa. Okay, I'm not going to do any writing, but here for the vibes. I feel that. Also, if you can hear my son screaming right now, my husband's trying to put him to sleep. I promise he's not by himself, but he's just being stubborn. Okay.
That's also me when I'm trying to put him. So
yeah, honestly. Okay. Oh, and Peyton is here. Hello.
Yay.
Okay.
Hi.
So fun. Say hi to everyone. Okay. And by the way, if anyone has like any questions or anything, feel free to the screaming in the background is me. Yes. That's canon, actually. It's just Alyssa.
I'm so happy you're here, Alyssa. Your comments are just top tier. Like, I need that.
I love it. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, we'll have like a little chat session before we do our first writing sprint. I was thinking we would do like 2 writing sprints, like 25 minutes each. Does that sound good to everyone? Okay. And then we'll have like a chat session now and then one after the first sprint. So yes. And oh my goodness, Emily, your hair looks so good and shiny. You need the routine. It does genuinely look so good.
It does. Thank
you.
I feel like I'm like a greasy mess.
You're glowing. You're glowing.
I had a work event tonight, so I quite literally came home. I got home at like 8:30. I went to the corner store to get a Dr. Pepper to fuel me, and I put on comfy pants instead of my like work pants. So
oh my gosh,
thank you so much.
That is amazing.
Color Wow Peat Spray and the Shark, whatever the blowout wand is.
Oh my gosh,
that's
awesome.
I want that so bad.
Okay, yeah, I need to do that, please. Okay, we got a question from Hannah actually that I want to answer. This is super fun. What character in your book do you relate to the most and why? That's kind of fun.
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I'll go first because I talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
Animus is me. Animus is my girl. Like, that is me in a fantasy character. I'm just like basically writing her like she's me. Which like I know some people say not to do, but I'm like, I just feel like that's the best way for me to write a good character. So I love Animus. She's very like, she struggles with her mental health, very much like me. She's like, but she's also like, I think funny, which is something I like to at least think that I am. But then I would say that Animus's best friend, Moors, I do kind of relate to her as well. She's like a little bit darker and like a little bit more isolated, and Animus is kind of I don't know how else to say it, like maybe a little bit ignorant about the world, whereas Moors is like more aware. So I kind of like feel both of them. So
yeah,
I kind of channel myself into both of their characters, which is interesting because they're best friends. So it's really fun.
I love that. It's almost like a duality type thing going on where like they have like the two sides of the same coin. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's so fun. So fun. And they're like, Animus has blonde hair, Morse has like brown hair, and they have like opposite fashion styles. So yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Emily,
do you have an answer?
I do. I also need to flag Alyssa's comment. Not the main character that opens Alyssa, that might be the nicest thing somebody's ever said.
Oh my goodness.
So sweet. Love that. Thank you. And in terms of character that I relate to the most of mine, I feel like, so I have 3 main characters. And I think, honestly, Amelia, when you said like, my character is a little bit like me, I feel like each of my 3 are different facets of myself, or like people that I know, qualities that I think work well together. But I think in terms of the character that represents me the best, or that I relate to the most, is probably Isabel, which is my protagonist in my story. I want to say she's trying her best, but she's also kind of phoning it in on a lot of different fronts. She's like trying to do too much. She's a little bit impulsive, but she loves hard, and she's really just trying to figure it out like anybody else. And so I think that pretty much sums up my my experience and where I'm at in my life. So writing her is a lot of fun because I feel like I get to lean into some of that stuff. She's technically like in her early 20s. I'm in my late 20s now, so I'm basically writing from the perspective of myself like 5 or 6 years ago, which is kind of fun. It does make me feel a little old, but that's okay. So yeah, I really like writing her, and I feel like I relate most to, honestly, her tenacity. Like, even if she's not good at something, she's going to keep trying. And if she's phoning it in, she's at least giving as much of herself as she can to a task, which I think is pretty consistent with me as well.
Yeah, I love that so much. Oh, that's so fun to hear about. I feel like for me, it's tough because I don't feel like I have like a character that is like specifically very, very much me, like unilaterally. But I guess like with both of my main characters, Vera and Cecil, they're like kind of pieces of myself in each of them, which I mean makes sense because I'm writing from both of their perspectives specifically. I feel like the other characters in my book that aren't those 2 characters are like very distinct and very different from myself, but like those two characters maybe have like the way that I think through things, I guess thought process wise, the most. And they're Vera and Cecil. With Vera, I feel like her behavior doesn't completely align with mine, but some of her characteristics, like for example, she is very hardworking, like to a fault. And also she
Why did you do that?
I don't know. Oh, I think it's like a setting that's on my Mac or something that I accidentally turned on one day and it hasn't gone away. But so another thing about Vera, I think that she has struggled to find belonging, and I haven't felt that in a while necessarily, but there, like, especially throughout like high school, I think I felt that a lot, that like difficulty in figuring out, okay, like which crowd, like which people do I resonate with and identify with? And like I knew a lot of different people, but I didn't feel like I truly connected and bonded with, like I didn't find like my people, if that makes sense, for a long time. So for Vera, she's kind of going through that experience. And it's similar actually, Emily, where my character is 23, but I'm 26. I'm turning 27 next month. So like I'm a few years ahead of my character. And also in a sense, like in terms of my development and my journey, like I'm a few years ahead of her as well in some ways. So I am kind of writing towards some of those experiences that I used to have. And then let's see. Cecil, I think in terms of his like presentation and personality is maybe the most like me, and maybe like the way that he thinks is most like me. And that's largely because, so do either of you know anything about like the Enneagram or anything like that, like the personality
a little, like I've
like
heard it,
big familiarity,
I've taken it, but I don't remember what I am.
Yeah. Okay. So Sleeping at Last is like a music artist. He made a song for each of the different Enneagram types. And I'm an Enneagram 9. And the Enneagram 9 song, when I like listen to it, that's Cecil. Like that's like a lot of his struggles and a lot of like the things. So like, you know how sometimes characters will have like lies that they believe and like that sort of thing, and then they have to kind of overcome that. And like basically that song contains his entire character arc. It starts off lyrics wise. Here, let me pull it up. It starts off lyrics wise. Who am I to say what any of this means? I have been sleepwalking since I was 14. Now, as I write my song, I retrace my steps. Honestly, it's easier to let myself forget. This is also in a literal sense because Cecil starts off with amnesia. So, like, he literally has chosen to forget his life because of lots of reasons. He doesn't want to fully live into it. And it's a fantasy, too, so they're very much, like, fantastical reasons. They're related to magic and stuff like that. But it ends like towards the end of the song. It says, let's see, I think actually no, the chorus. Oh yeah, the chorus is wake up, fall in love again, wage war on gravity. There's so much worth fighting for, you'll see. And like I think in like the last chorus, it's like stand up and fall in love again and again and again. And like that's just like so Cecil, but I also relate to it because I am an Enneagram 9. So yes. That was maybe long-winded, but like
I love Sleeping at Last.
I know, me too.
So like underrated.
Oh, so good, so good. So Vera, I think on the surface I share some characteristics with her, but Cecil is like my soul. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. That's me with Animus. Animus is like the presentation of me and like the like, you know, facade, and then Moore's is like deep down who I really am, you know.
Yes,
which is so fun. Oh my gosh, I love writing it, you know.
Oh my gosh, it's so fun. Okay. Oh, and Alyssa. All of my characters are just me in a different hat, and I make no apologies. Frankly, Alyssa, do you just want to hop on the stream? Because I feel like you're contributing so much. Oh, like I'm not even joking. Like you can if you want to. Oh, Margot says, since we were talking music, are there any other songs that match your guys' characters? Oh, but hang on. Oh, I think I missed Gail asked what was the artist for Enneagram songs. That's Sleeping at Last. So I'll like just type it in the chat. Sleeping at Last is the name of the artist. Yeah. He's got really good music. But okay. So Ari's here.
Hi, Ari.
Hello. Good to
Hi,
see
Ari.
Oh, I would, but I'm too deep in this. It's fine, Alisa. You do your puzzles. I know your puzzles mean so much to you. Okay. All right. Anyway, are there any other songs that match your guys' characters? I feel like I have to pull up Spotify.
Yeah, that's exactly what I just.
Yeah. My music taste is so random. Like I have like on all different ends of the spectrum. There's stuff going on. So this is gonna be interesting. Let me pull up my playlist.
Let's see. Oh gosh. Oh, my child is crying.
Oh.
Why?
Okay. I have a couple. I can start if that's.
Yeah, you go. This is a hard question.
So for Isabel, I mean, I have an entire playlist. I think I have them linked on most of my videos, but I will check that. I'll double check that. If anybody's curious, if like literally anyone cares. But so for Isabel, I would say the two songs that most accurately sum up, like maybe not necessarily her experience in the story, but like her arc, is Making the Bed by Olivia Rodrigo.
So
and
good.
Hope is a Scary Thing by Carol Addes. Or Addies. I always say her name wrong. I'm obsessed with her, but I cannot pronounce her name to save my life. But I think both of those songs kind of capture the fear that you have of going from like wanting more for yourself or wanting something different, but being so scared that like you might actually get it and then you have to do something about it. So I think that's kind of where we meet her at the very beginning of the story. So I think those two songs like sum up really well her experience throughout the novel and are like kind of critical to her development. And then for Nestor, which is my like one of my secondary, I think he's like a main character. He's not the protagonist. He's a love interest really. But I think for him, there's like a bunch of different pieces that kind of have contributed to his journey. And the song that I think best sums him up is Godlight by Noah Kahan, which is one of my favorite songs. Less for the lyrics and more just like the general vibe, but he's on a journey like everyone else, and he's trying to navigate that. And then the last one that I'll say is like related to two kind of like secondary characters. They're Isabel's parents. So Isabel's parents factor heavily into the story, but they're not POV characters. But the song Reckless Driving by Lizzie McAlpine.
Oh my gosh, I freaking love that song. And I love Lizzie.
Yes.
I love Lizzie.
Oh yeah. I knew y'all were good people.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I think. I mean, I could be here and give my entire playlist and go into detail about like why every song makes sense, but I think in terms of just like surface level, I think those are the ones that that speak to the characters specifically.
I'll go next, unless you want to go, Joy.
No, I'm still kind of trying to think about it.
It's a hard question.
I definitely relate like songs to scenes more than the whole character. So I don't have necessarily songs for like each character per se, but like, okay, there's this huge romantic scene kind of near the midpoint. I won't give away too much because obviously, but Save Us by, who even is the artist? Lennon Stella, the song. This reminds me so much of the romance scene.
That's awesome.
Kind of like heartbreaking, but like bittersweet, like this is finally happening vibes. But like there's certain things happening that are prohibiting this relationship. So that song reminds me a lot of that. I think about that song a lot. This song by Bene, Happened to Me.
Oh my gosh.
of Moors.
Love
Oh my gosh.
her.
I love, is it pronounced Bene or Benny? I don't know.
I
But
always just said
frankly, I
Benny,
don't
but
know.
it's one of those words that I just read and I don't pronounce it out loud, so I don't think about it
right?
very often. But I've been on her since like 2018, 2019. I love her. She's so cool.
So good. Yeah, her songs, all of her songs pretty much remind me of Moors. Moors is very like introspective and dealing with a lot of problems and confronting a lot of like societal ails within her. She feels like kind of responsible for that, and so she feels like a lot of guilt and shame and is processing that stuff. So yeah, Benny's songs remind me a lot of her. I love Gracie Abrams as well. So good.
Yes.
I love sad characters.
Oh my gosh.
I love sad, depressing, heartbreaking, devastating books. So
yep, I feel
and
that.
then I also I love The Night Does Not Belong to God by Sleep Token. That one's a little bit weird. That one's a little bit not pop. But I love Sleep Token. If anyone loves Sleep Token, yeah, that's my stuff. So I would say those songs. Obviously, it's more diverse than that, but
yeah. That's so fun. Oh man, I think for me, so my playlist that I write to has mostly instrumental music, but I have recently kind of like picked a few songs that like actually have lyrics and like actually, you know, are more easily relatable to the characters and stuff. Also, you have a Sleep Token fan here. It's Marta.
Yes! Oh my gosh. Sleep Token is so good.
Love
I
it.
am obsessed with them. I saw them live, actually, so top tier moment in my life.
Fun. Yep. But I think so I already said like the 9 song, the Enneagram 9 song for Cecil. That's definitely like the one that hits the core for him. But also like Memories by Conan Gray is also a good song for him. And then for Rosalind, I think oh gosh, wait, I lost it. What's it called again? It is by Lizzie McAlpine. An Ego Thing. By Lizzie McAlpine. That's a song that fits with Rosalind. I think just like kind of like the confrontational nature of it that just fits her character. And then for Vera, I have a lot of like instrumental songs that go with her, but for songs with actual lyrics, I think Peace by Taylor Swift. Yeah, a lot of that, just like the
suffering.
yeah, lots of that like suffering and just like the I think it also encompasses some of their romance too, where there's a lot of pain involved. Not necessarily with each other, but like the two of them are coming from like two very imperfect places. And I feel like that song captures a lot of that dynamic in some ways. So yeah, it's good stuff.
I love that.
Yes. Oh, also, I'm so jealous.
I know.
First Hans Zimmer, now Sleep Token.
Hans Zimmer was so good too. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and the whole Interstellar soundtrack. Are you kidding?
Oh my gosh.
Kidding? Devastating.
I would explode if I went to that.
It was so good. And then he did like what is it called when they go back on stage? An encore? I think that's what it's called. Yeah, and he played Inception, which was again heartbreaking, devastating. My favorite feeling.
Give me chills all over my body.
Oh, it was so good. Loved it. Yeah. And Sleep Token, I'm so grateful to have seen them. Oh my gosh, they're going back on tour. I'm like, I guess I need to take out a credit card. Just kidding.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, hi, Alphonse. My cat.
Oh my goodness. Hello.
Just greeting us.
Cute.
Hi,
he wants
buddy.
to be live too.
I know. He just has to be on camera at all times. Oh, Sarah's here. Hello.
Hi.
Yes, and also Peyton said the best books are the devastating ones, in my opinion. Gotta tear our hearts a bit. Honestly, I will say I think I'm more inclined to give a book 5 stars if it made me cry. Like I will legitimately give a book an extra star if it made me cry. Even if it's like otherwise mediocre, if it has something in it that pulls my heart apart enough I don't know, maybe I'm just masochistic or something, but
No,
I like to cry.
I completely relate. If it
No,
makes
I do
you feel
too.
something and
I do
affects you in
too.
some way, yeah.
Yep.
That's the point of literature, you know? So, like,
Agreed.
break your heart, you know? That's what I love.
Agreed. I love it. And of course, Gil acknowledged cat. But also, don't you have, I'm like trying to look at the screen. It looks like you have a cat as your profile picture. So, like, those cat buddies. I love it so much.
My dog Bean is back here, by the way.
Oh my god.
Okay, Bean is the cutest thing ever in my heart.
I'll
oh my
grab
gosh.
him for
Oh
you
my
all.
gosh, my heart. Yes, Bean. I'm a big
He's a living
Bean
jelly
fan.
cat. He's a
Oh my gosh. Yes, Bean.
Like,
yes.
what are you doing?
Yes, Bean.
Hi, Bean.
Look, he's here.
Sorry. I should have covered his private. Everyone. Here's Bean, everyone.
Hi.
So cute.
Oh my gosh, my whole heart is just melting.
He's like ridiculous. It's like people gawk at him in public. He's so cute. They'll be like, "Oh, he's so cute."
Oh my gosh, I could explode.
He's like a living jelly cat. Honestly, he's so cute.
Yeah, Bean was not having it, but he enjoyed nonetheless.
He's so chill.
Everyone's a big fan of Bean.
Nothing bothers Bean. He's just like, he's just chilling. I'll return him back to his nap area.
That level of relaxed.
Oh, I love that. Please. Oh, Sab asked, has anyone cried during writing their own scenes? Has anyone cried?
Oh yeah. I cried about thinking about writing scenes.
Oh yeah. I feel that.
I don't know if I have. I feel like I have a bunch of scenes that I think will be sad when I write them, but I don't know if I will be as sad because like I know what happens, if that makes sense. Like what's like the larger purpose that it plays. But I did get emotional writing one scene, which happens like quite early on in the story, at least chronologically. I don't know at what point it'll appear in the finished text, but it's one of the earliest scenes for Lucy, which actually I have like a little board. I'm going to show you guys. So there's like a visual component, so you know what the heck I'm talking about when I'm talking about my characters. Sorry for this close-up of my...
You're totally fine.
But okay. So this is Lucy.
Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. I love that you have it printed out.
I have it up here so that like whenever I'm trying to like channel that character, I can like, I have it as a quick reference. But anyway, there's a scene where she goes through something like really terrible and it kind of starts... It's her traumatic moment, I guess, in the novel, and so that kind of kicks off a lot of the action that's related to her, and just the effect that it has on her, and how that kind of shows up in her day-to-day life. She's kind of like sleepwalking through grief for the first chunk of the story. So I think like writing that scene, you kind of have to get into the headspace of what that's like, and it makes you like think back to your own experiences, your own life, and I think in that way it starts to like affect me a little bit, but I wouldn't say I've like shed a tear writing it, but I have like wanted to go stare at the wall and disassociate after writing it. So I like same thing but different, I guess.
Yes, I feel that. I think so. I hadn't cried until I like wrote like the Dark Night of the Soul moment for my main character Vera. Most recently, like in this first draft that I wrote, that was I think the one time that I like actually cried while writing a scene. I did tear up like when I finished the first draft, but it wasn't like because of the scene. It was more just because I finished the first draft.
Huge accomplishment, and you should be proud of yourself.
Yeah. Exactly. And then I definitely so I come up with a lot of ideas for my book and like scene ideas while I'm out for runs. And more than once I started crying during my run. I was like listening to like emotional music and imagining my characters in a certain scene, and I definitely was crying. And if anybody saw me, they would be so concerned. Like, what is this girl doing to her body? It's like, no, I'm just thinking about my book. And I feel like they would just look at me even weirder then. So, it's fine.
Honestly though, crying while running seems like associated. They feel like next to each other.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, my I'm sure like my body and like my emotions were like already like so heightened just from like the adrenaline and the blood pumping through my body and stuff. So I think I was just more prone to that feeling. But yeah, it looks like other people relate to the crying thing. Now I'm looking at the chat. Okay. I had to write a dying scene and a funeral scene. I was a wreck. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Yes, I cry when writing my diary. Does that count?
That counts.
Oh, a lot of the time my emotions reflect on my character's headspaces. So if they're crying, likely I cry too. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And then I feel like that brings a lot more authenticity to the table because you're not like fabricating the emotion. You're like pouring it out of yourself.
Yes, that's when you do the best writing. When you're feeling that way, like my book deals a lot with like the inner turmoil that comes with oppression and like what does freedom mean? What does real freedom mean? And also the current political environment like also makes me emotional. And so writing I think I get more emotional when I'm brainstorming than when I'm actually writing because for me when I'm writing I'm focused on like the process of how do I put together what I want to say.
Yeah, more like the prose and like the mechanics of it.
Yeah. But when I'm brainstorming and thinking about like different scenes and like what about my internal experience do I want to project onto this book? That's when I get like emotional and like I'm thinking about all the deep questions and
that makes sense.
So, yeah, that's when I get more emotional.
Yeah. Because you're thinking about it from like more of an idea and like conceptual lens rather than like the mechanics of writing itself.
Yeah.
It's like you're really thinking about the emotions and brainstorming. Yeah.
I wish I got less into the mechanics. Like it's definitely been a big hindrance. I'm always thinking about how does this sound and trying to like make everything perfect, which is like not real. That's not a real thing. So I need to stop doing that. Yeah, because when I'm writing, it's hard for me to get into that like flying mode where I feel like I'm like in the book. So yeah, I definitely feel like I get more wrapped into it when I'm not actually sitting down and like writing, when I'm more so thinking about it, you know?
I feel like the sitting down thinking about it stage is such a crucial, but often like, I don't want to say it's overlooked because I think everybody experiences it, but I think it's one of those stages that we don't put a lot of focus on. But at least for me, any scene that I've written, if I've sat down to work on it 3 times, I've thought about it like 30 times before I've gotten to that point.
Yeah, so
true. Connection pieces, like it's so hard to figure out where, you know, one plot thread ends and another begins, especially if you don't resolve either of them in the same way, but like trying to work through how do I mesh this together in a way that feels organic but also authentic to the experiences of all of my characters, and also within the larger plot, like how does that all work, where it almost feels like you're just untangling a big ball of yarn that's like knotted up, and if you just unravel everything at once, you're just going to get overwhelmed. It's going to stress you out. You're just going to throw it away. So you have to do it like little by little. And sometimes you're going to unravel a knot, and sometimes you're just going to pull out a couple of loose threads, and you just have to keep at it. And that's when you get, I would say, like the best results. And the writing that I'm happiest with is stuff that I've only sat down to write a couple of times, but I've been playing it on a loop in my head for like weeks or months, or even like for some stories, like years. It's been years in the making. So the less glamorous.
Emily, you're the queen of analogies.
I know, seriously. I feel like every single video you like have a new metaphor. It's amazing. Like you describe the writing life so well. Like you're gonna have to write your own craft book someday.
Oh, maybe. Oh my goodness.
Seriously.
Add it to the to-do list.
I'm on standby. I'm gonna pre-order it immediately.
You guys are the best.
Oh, it looks like we have a few new friends. I think I saw Faybelle come in. Oh, and she also said, okay, sometimes I cry when I write things, and sometimes I feel disgusted by my horrible writing, and sometimes I'm way too proud and pat myself in the back. That's so relatable.
Yeah, no, honestly,
Oh
it's
my
like the
goodness.
constant switch between I'm so good at this and I am horrible. I can never be a writer. It's
Yes.
always back and forth between those
Emotional roller
extremes.
coaster.
Yes. I
Constant.
feel that.
Yep.
I saw Becca's also here. So
Hi,
hello,
Becca.
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 So happy you could catch us.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I think honestly it's probably a good time to start writing.
Yeah.
Or I mean, in my case, mostly brainstorming, but like are we good to start
Writing.
our
Writing.
little timer here? All right, here, let me pull it up because I forgot to pull it up last time. There we go. Okay. All right, everybody ready?
Yes, I'm very excited.
All right,
Good
good
luck,
luck
everyone.
everybody.
Good luck.
we are all done with that sprint. How did it go?
Pretty good. Let me just see where I got with words.
You good, Amelia?
I'm like working on an assignment right now.
Oh yeah,
so
you're
it's
good.
Not very like
not super fun.
But
yeah, you're totally fine. You're in the final stretch, though.
It'll be over.
I cannot even tell you. I'm like
so exciting.
So close. I'm really like I've never been. I've always been, like being a student was like a big part of my identity, and then all of a sudden I stopped caring about it, and it's like not really relevant to me anymore. And so now I'm like, I used to be the student who like really cared about school and grades, and now I just don't, and so it makes it so hard to keep going on. But I literally have 5 weeks, like I have to keep it together. So
oh man. Oh, also bicep, she has to go.
Bye.
Let's see.
Good night.
Margot said, I may have spent the first 10 plus minutes just re-listening to The Night Does Not Belong to God, and then you clip it. Still got 550 words.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's impressive. I love that. And sorry, Emily, were you able to make good progress?
Yes, I think so. Full disclosure, I was like typing up basically something that I'd written by hand already. And like changing a little bit of it, but I kept like writing and rewriting. So I ended up with 446 words.
Very nice.
Today, which is not bad. 25 minutes. But yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah. Well, of course I was brainstorming, so I wasn't really like looking at word count or anything, but I started working on the magic system a little bit.
Oh, fun.
Which is fun, but also like really intimidating because magic systems, I don't know, I feel like they're hard for me, but I'm trying to be really intentional this time with incorporating it, like with the world and with the themes and kind of tying it in a little bit better with this new project than I feel like I did with the other one. And I think I still managed to cobble it together and make it work with my other project, with Project Phoenix, but with this one, I am trying to be like extra intentional. So yeah.
That's so fun. World building is so much fun. I did my magic system when was that, Amelia? I feel like I was talking to you about that. I did my magic system like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I was going off of vibes for my magic system when I first started. I was like, they can do this. Why? Next question. I don't know. So I really was like sitting down to kind of try to figure out what that looks like. But it's hard. I feel like with magic, especially, you solve one thing or like you create one thing and then 3 more holes or problems pop up where you're like, okay, well, if they can just do that.
Then like what are these problems? And oh my gosh. Yes. That's so true.
The options are so vast. It's like, how do you grapple with the potential possibilities? Well, also making it fit the context and like have a point. It's not just random,
Exactly.
It is really hard.
Yeah, because I don't want to just have a magic system slapped onto a world and characters and it just doesn't like fit. I want it to kind of say something a little bit more and tie into everything and like have a purpose. I don't want to just have magic just because it's a fantasy and like I feel obligated to have magic, That makes me feel like I have all this pressure because I'm like, well, I don't have all these other details like figured out, but that's where I'm kind of doing it in tandem with this brainstorm new project. So yeah,
honestly, for me, it's so helpful this is so like, I don't know, maybe not helpful, but I do who, what, where, when, why. When thinking about world building.
I like that.
So, or like who has control over this magic, or who can use this magic, or whatever. What is it? Where did it start? Where is it? Like, is it physical? Is it more of like a spiritual thing? That's really helpful for me for any world building details.
Yeah, I like that.
That's a great point, honestly.
Okay. Oh, Peyton said she got 350 words and 700 words away from reaching 20K.
Oh
congratulations. That's so exciting. Oh my gosh. That is amazing. And then Elizabeth said 4 weeks into drafting, and I've just finally finished my plotting beats, but it is what it is. I mean, I feel like
there's no timeline.
Truly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just kind of do what works for you, right? We did have a question that is a really hard question. At least for me, it's a girl that is awful at pitches. If you had to describe your story as blank meets blank, what would it be? For example, summer camp meets patriarchy marriage norms. Describes Come on Silver. So, yeah, I don't know.
Where do you guys come up with these questions?
Oh my gosh. Like, it's a really good question because I feel like that would really help you to market your book.
True.
I feel like the best that I can currently come up with is because, like, my mind immediately goes towards, comps in terms of other books and video games and, like, movies and stuff like that, or genres, even though that's not exactly what this is, I think. It's more like, the way that it's framed here is more like an activity or a thing meets a major theme, kind of. But I guess it can be formatted anyway, theoretically. But the best that I can come up with off the top of my head, I don't know. I want to say, like, the video game Final Fantasy meets gothic romance. I don't know. That's the best I can currently come up with. And that's for Project Phoenix. What I'm currently working on, it's not developed enough yet, I don't think, for me to have I don't know. Maybe I'll stand by while you guys think. I'll also try to think of one for the project I'm currently working on.
Oh my gosh. I mean, first of all, the problem is that when you write your first draft, you like figure out what is even going on. Like, I don't even know.
Like, you don't even like fully know what it's about. Right. I mean, I feel like that's what I'm going to be doing in revisions, is figuring out like what my story is about, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, how do I say this without doing disservice to the goal of the book?
Well, let's just say like no pressure, just like the first thing that comes to you. Like, this is set in stone.
The first thing, I know, I'm like, what's the marketing here? The first thing that always comes to mind is Dune. I love Dune. Dune is just a classic. The like religious system, like with the Bene Gesserit and the whole like manipulation there, it's just fantastic. I'm like, oh my gosh, it makes me so like, I'm just so impressed. Like, what mastery of writing.
Oh my gosh, like the politics in that book are so cool. And I'm sure as a political science major, you have like way more appreciation than even I do. Yeah.
It's like crafting. Politics is so hard because you have to craft something that's like perfectly corrupted, which isn't easy, and humanity is so complex that it's like you don't just have good and bad, you really shouldn't just do black and white.
Yeah.
So Dune always comes to mind because Paul, first of all, is a character, and being this like Messiah who's like, not truly what's going on. Just the manipulation and like the corruption and everything that happens in that book is just, that's my goal there. Yeah. And then also the Hunger Games. First of all, Suzanne Collins is like the best. I freaking love Suzanne Collins. She is so good. And just like the character development met with like the dystopian societal dysfunction. Wow. So good. So probably Dune meets the Hunger Games. Although those are like comps, so really maybe that's not like the question, but
I think it still like, works. Yeah. You can
the Hunger Games. Yeah, Peyton, the Hunger Games is everything. I think about that book like literally every day. Oh my gosh, especially Mockingjay. Mockingjay is like just next level literature.
I feel like I need to reread it. So I haven't read like the most recent books that have come out or like seen the new movie or anything like that. I only read the original trilogy like when I was in high school, and obviously have watched the movie several times. So like I feel like I'm kind of missing out. I need to like go back and reread them all and like appreciate them from the standpoint of being like a writer. I don't know. I've always loved Suzanne Collins. I actually was initially a fan of hers because of Gregor the Overlander. Which was like a middle grade series, I think, that she wrote. correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure she wrote those too, and they were so good. I loved those books.
She used to be like a children's book author too. Even she used to write children's books.
Oh my gosh! But yeah, she's legendary. Yeah. Actually, I think we have a Hunger Games question that came up too. But
honestly, yes.
I don't want Emily to get out of this though.
Oh my gosh,
she's got to answer.
Fair. I've literally been thinking about it the entire time. I'm like listening, but also I'm like, what the heck?
I know. I feel that. Yeah, that's a hard question, but it's such a good one. Honestly, I'm probably gonna keep on thinking about it because 100%. It's a good question.
100%. I feel like mine is like magical nepotism meets end of the world ? Maybe.
Okay.
But I don't know if that like actually, or the end of a world.
I'm so sold.
I don't know. We'll see. That's kind of what I'm workshopping right now. The other one is like being a hater professionally.
I love it.
Nice.
Like being forced to be the bigger person for the good of humanity. But again, that's like, I don't know, so vague, but not like punchy and like.
No, I like it though. I like it.
No, I think great. It's great.
Oh, thank you.
I do now also have to say, I think now if I were to not do comps, I would say dystopian solar punk, which is like a contradiction, but that's the goal. If you look at my Pinterest, if you care, like Emily said about music, you literally all the tea about my book is on my Pinterest board. Like you know the plot if you look at my Pinterest board.
Heck yes.
So yeah.
I love that so much. But okay, Hunger Games question. Do we want to answer that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Fun question for Hunger Games fans. What district would your main characters be in? So I need to look up the districts again because I only have vague recollections of what they are.
The best. This is the best question. I'm obsessed with this. I'm obsessed with this. Immediately, Animus would be a career. Like immediately, she'd be District 1. Yeah, she's like, this is hard doing this live because I want to be careful about like what I say, what I don't reveal and stuff.
Accidentally spoil
I know. Animus is like, she's up there in terms of like socioeconomic status. So she definitely would be a career, and she's also like pretty sheltered and ignorant, about what's actually going on. So yeah, I would say District 1 for sure, which makes her extremely unlikable. But it's good for me because the character development over the course of the novel is just gonna be so good. And then Moore's her best friend is probably, I don't know, like maybe District 5. She's still up there, but she's not like District 12 type beat. And then honestly, like Eli, I'm so sorry for him, he's probably District 13, he's like out of the picture. He's not doing good. So he's really, struggling. So I would say those are like the 3 main characters. I don't talk about Morse too much, but there's actually like 5 main characters. But yeah, I would say those 3 are like the ones that stand out most.
Interesting. I'm still like looking up the districts.
Fair. I can go next then.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I think honestly, I could explain it to you. I'm like,
do we need to have like a PowerPoint of a breakdown of each of the districts?
I know.
I remember like the career ones and stuff, and I remember District 12, and I remember District 4. I always loved Finnick, so is that his name, right?
Yeah.
So like I always loved District 4 for that reason. But other than that, I'm like, I don't know.
Okay. I can read that if you like. Whatever.
Yeah, they all have different things that they do.
Yeah.
Okay. So for
mine, read it, Emily.
I would say, read the districts or like which one?
Yeah, you should read.
Okay.
We should go over what does each one do.
It's a learning moment as a class. Okay, so District 1.
Okay, class 1.
This is the capital, obviously, which is like the middle of everything. District 1 is luxury goods and entertainment, so like Hollywood, etc., designer clothes, whatever. 2 is masonry and defense. 3 is technology and electronics. 4 is fishing. 5 is power and electricity. 6 is transportation. 7 is lumber. 8 is textiles. 9 is grain. 10 is livestock. 11 is agriculture and food production. 12 is coal mining. And 13 was initially thought to be destroyed. Sorry if anybody hasn't read book 2. Is graphite, nuclear weapons, and armaments.
Okay. And yeah, it goes from like the upper class all the way down.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think District 1, 2, I think it goes up to 4 are the careers.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
You are like up to snuff on your Hunger Games trivia.
Oh,
I love
I'm a fan. Like, I'm a super fan. I was obsessed with the Hunger Games when I was a teenager. Like, I would make bows and arrows, like, out of sticks.
Love that
I was
so
really
much.
into it, you know?
I had the Mockingjay pin. I wore like the pin and my like Hunger Games t-shirt and like green pants and a braid to the movie premiere. Not the premiere at my like small town cinema, but like I was committed. I
love that.
I love the drama, apparently.
Which, by the way, why were we as teenagers like obsessed with such a morbid, horrific
I don't know.
idea?
That is like Twilight, which I look back on and I'm like, I loved that at the time, but I look back, I'm like, I shouldn't have been reading that at that age. I was too young, but it's fine. Anyway, on the districts, I'm gonna do my like hold up my little thing and explain.
Yes, heck yes. Okay, love it.
So let's start with Nestor. So Nestor, it would be District 4, fishing. He's from like a small port town, which you can kind of see the little like cute little vibes.
Yeah, definitely giving that vibe.
He's 4, District 4. Lucy is a member of the nobility, so she's from the capital, unfortunately. We don't hold that against her, or we do, but like a little bit. We do a little bit. So she's from the capital, and then this one's like fully a joke. Amelia, you'll get this one. Isabel is District 6 transportation.
Oh yes! Oh my gosh.
Either that or like power and electricity, but like probably transportation.
Yeah.
Which is super random, but also, yeah, I don't know. This one, I just like this part of the board. It says, on a quest, talk later. Or, yeah, on a quest right now, talk later.
That is so good. That is so good. So good.
Highly recommend making a fun little collage for your characters and then sticking them on a board because it brings me so much joy.
That's so fun. I love it. Okay, now that I've had time to think and I've been educated, so I feel like Cecil would probably be District 1, unfortunately, but it just is the one that fits, okay? For similar reasons. He's not exactly nobility, but like he is... I don't want to spoil anything, so I can't.
It's hard. Yeah. It's hard to do it without spoiling. So like, oh, obviously it's
so
this.
Hard.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
I overshared.
Yep.
It's hard because you want to be able to talk about it. You want to be able to say like, "This is my whole plot."
Yep. I know. Seriously. Rosalind, she's like like a deuteragonist. Is that what it's called? I guess where she's not the protagonist, but she is a very significant character. She's like the third in the trio. She would be career for sure. I don't know which one specifically. Hang on, let me look at them again. District list Hunger Games. I'm Googling it again just so I can see. Probably District 2, I guess, would make sense for Rosalind. Mining and defense. She's like very strong, like physically strong. Let's see. And then Vera. So District 4 would make sense for the fishing thing, just for the same reasoning Emily is your other character, where like she is from a town that's like where fishing is the main thing that they do. But in terms of vibe, agriculture might fit a little bit better for her since she, like, her dad grew up with like a garden in the backyard and he like had like an herb shop and stuff like that. So like she has knowledge of plants and that sort of thing. So I feel like, oh man. Yeah, I would, let me just go with District 11 for Vera. That makes the most sense. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That was like harder than I thought.
Yeah,
I was
seriously.
Like, easy. I was like, wait, I don't know.
Yeah.
Suzanne Collins is just a genius. Like, I literally say that over and over and over. Like, the things that she assigned to each district is just genius. The way that she like segmented the society. I just want to meet her so bad. I'm like, I love her. I'm a super fan.
Yes. And then we probably have time for just a couple more questions. But I think this is an answer from earlier. I like pulling pieces together. My book is the sci-fi of Star Wars, the espionage of spy thriller, and allegory of Narnia.
Oh, I love that.
I kind of really like that.
I love that. So cool.
I like specifically drawing out the specific elements that are, that was so redundant, specifically drawing out the specific elements. Catch me. Oh my gosh. Anyway, but I do like deciding, okay, which elements of the thing that you're talking about are you drawing out, you know? I like that a lot. That's super cool. And then, yeah. Blank meets blank can be helpful lighthouses when writing so that you don't lose sight of the bigger picture and can keep big concepts in mind, but also helps with marketing for sure. Honestly, yes.
True.
I would agree with that. Okay, we do have another question. Do you guys ever take questions from live streams that are too spoilery and talk about them with just AuthorTube friends, like behind the scenes? So I personally haven't really done this because I feel like most of the lives I've hosted, everyone like has to go right away because it's been like usually later. I'm not like opposed to it or like opposed to like talking to friends about stories, but I feel like I'm not always good at talking about my story out loud. So like so much of it is still like in my head or like it's on the page, but like summarizing it in a succinct way is a little bit challenging. So I don't know.
Yeah.
100%. I feel like I write novels because I can't be concise. Like I need all the words. So
it's so true.
Really hard to distill it to like a pitch or something. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like yes and no. I think a lot of the questions that people tend to ask in lives are like things that I'm kind of either like thinking about or have been on my radar, or sometimes I'll like answer a question and not give like an answer that I love, and then I'll be thinking about it later and I'll be like, oh, actually, this actually is really helpful for, you know, me figuring out like this plot point or that plot point or whatever. And so that in that way, it kind of like comes back up. But I definitely have given like spoilers to some of my fellow like AuthorTube creators, but only when they've said that that's okay, because I don't want to be out here spoiling things for people who don't want it spoiled. But yeah, I don't know. So like yes and no, depends.
Yes, there's like one time I've shared something out loud with people like before a stream started that I don't think I had like specifically told anyone yet. But like that was only one time. The only person that like knows everything about my book is my husband. Like because he's read parts of it, and I've also like done lots of brainstorming with him, and just like I've sat down and oh my gosh, when I did the reverse outline for my book to like prepare for the second draft, because like after I finished the first draft, I did a whole reverse outline like last week, and I like sat my husband down and I was like, okay, let me talk to him about this reverse outline. And I talked to him for like 2 hours. And I told him like all of the changes I was thinking about making. I felt kind of bad, not gonna lie, because he was like, all right, it's like midnight, can I go to bed?
Yeah, signed up for this in sickness and in health, and also until midnight while I'm writing my novel.
Literally.
You signed up to be. I was a creative writing major. He knew what he was getting into. But man, other than my husband, though, I really haven't like told, like I haven't unloaded my story on anyone yet, and like I want to, but I'm also like afraid to at the same time.
Fair.
So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely do the same thing. My husband is like basically a co-author on this novel. Like, he's been instrumental in like developing the plot specifically, because for me it's all about character. That's like the number one thing that I think about. How do I craft the characters? And so plot is kind of secondary. Like, honestly, I'm writing this book and I do not know the plot, guys. Like, I do not know what's going on. I never know.
That way. That's normal, I feel like.
I never know what's going on.
I am also so focused on my characters, 100%. And I'm trying to be more mindful of the plot with this new project that I'm brainstorming. But yeah, with Project Phoenix, it was my characters and vibes and pantsing most of the time.
The characters, the characters and the vibes. That's like my thing. But then it's hard when you're trying to focus on political theory and stuff, because there has to be something there.
It has to be like intricate. Yeah. I just read, so I was really sick over the weekend, and while I was sick with the stomach bug, I like, while I could, like in between times when I was conscious, I read, I think it's called The Shadow of What Was Lost or something like that, by James Islington. So he's the one that wrote The Will of the Many. I really loved that book. So I am digging into his backlog. He has like one trilogy prior to The Will of the Many. So I'm going to probably read through that while I'm waiting for The Strength of the Few to come out later. And he is such an intricate plotter. Like, his prose could use some work, and I can actually tell it improved a lot in The Will of the Many compared to like this first book that he like wrote and published that I'm currently reading. But it was originally self-published, actually, so I was really impressed with the quality of it. Given that, obviously, self-publishing is a great avenue, but like in terms of facts, like they just have fewer resources at their disposal, generally speaking. So like sometimes the quality is dependent on like the author, but anyway, regardless, he, oh my gosh, his plot like broke my brain, but it was so, and like the world building, it was so in depth and intricate and so fascinating to see like all the layers unfold over time and like the reveals. So yeah, I aspire to like be able to plot like James Islington. But I also, want to have like good prose and good characters, which I feel might be like a little bit of his weaknesses, because like he does kind of focus on the plot so much and the world so much that like sometimes, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a fantastic book, really enjoyed it, and I'm like super excited to read the next books in the trilogy. They are very long books though, so I'm like, oh man. But oh my gosh, I so admire people that are good at doing that, because I'm not.
For me, I would say like the characters just have to drive the story, but the plot is the structure. And so if you have a good structure and your characters are doing a good job, I was like, wow, that's so dark.
My cat jumped in front of my light. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but for me, characters are like, I feel like if you don't have good, compelling characters, I'm not gonna keep reading the book. Like, no matter how good the plot is, like it's just boring. So I focus on characters first, and then John, my husband, focuses on the plot.
There we go. Teamwork. Okay, Amina's here, so I just wanted to say hi, Amina. Love you so much, girl. Mwah. Okay. And then Peyton said a few things. I struggle so hard trying to summarize my book to a short pitch. Like, how do people do this? So many layers to everything. That is so true. It is so hard. And then every time I figure out the plot, my characters just start taking over and everything changes and adapts as it continues to develop.
That happens all the time.
I really,
that 1000% happens to me as well. Yeah. My characters have a mind of their own. Yep. And making characters from beginning to who they become and end is so fun, but I struggle so much with creating convincing catalysts that are meant to change them that way. Yes, that's true. there have been times where like I was trying to figure out like the character arc. So I was like, okay, I want my character to start here and I want them to end here. But like figuring out that middle part of like, how did they change to be that way is not always easy to puzzle out the details.
No, it's so hard.
Yeah.
It takes forever too. And I feel like a lot of character building for me, I mean, my most recent video that I posted was basically inspired by the fact that I was going through my character sheets for everything. And I was like, I did not do very much here because I had like rough outlines of things and I had general ideas of who I thought my characters were. But when I was actually trying to put pen to paper and play out these scenes, I found I was writing them in one way. And then like a couple of, sentences later, I would like add in a completely, what's the word I'm looking for? Like an incongruent character trait that like made sense for the way that I saw the scene going, but like didn't feel authentic to them. So I was having a bit of an identity crisis like 3 times over for all of my main characters. And I ended up reading Little Thieves by Margaret Owen and then the sequel Painted Devils, and I actually just finished Holy Terrors, the final book that came out on the 1st. I literally picked it up on the 31st because the bookstore near me stocked it like the day before, so I got it early. And I stayed up so late, and then I woke up so early to read it, to finish it. Yeah. It was amazing.
Those are the best books. Oh my gosh.
And it's been a minute since I've read one like that, but that series really reminded me that like it's time to get my butt up and work, because it's impossible to have really wonderful, deep, complex characters, but it doesn't come without effort. So going kind of through and doing that little exercise, like, okay, what are the qualities that I see as being like the standout qualities for each of these characters, and how do they either relate to the other characters, or how are they going to cause tension with the other characters, so that when I'm writing those scenes, I can be like, oh, Isabel's really sarcastic, so she's going to end up probably leaning for the sarcastic option if things start to get a little too like close for comfort. If she's expected to be a little bit too vulnerable, like this is probably how she's going to push against that. And Nestor, also being very sarcastic, is probably like not going to let her get away with that. So that's going to create some interesting opportunities for tension, but also like interiority for both of them. So I think like doing little exercises like that was useful, because character work is so important, but I hate doing it. I like the writing process. I hate doing research for stuff. I hate like everything else. It never sticks anyway. But I also with organization and like wanting to plot, and it's a process. I like writing like 10% of the time, and the rest of the time it's like torture, but it's fully self-inflicted because nobody's asking me to do this. I am doing it because I want to. Like I'm like, it's fun. I say, white knuckling my head.
I love it. I swear it's fun. Yeah.
I swear, I promise.
So like crying actual tears. but not like the sad ones. Just the like, I'm in pain, but this is good. This is really good.
Harry Potter line. It's like you're gonna be happy about it.
Yeah, honestly, seriously.
I feel like it's so important to talk about like how hard and also like how bad like my first draft is bad. It's so bad. Like the writing is bad, the characters are bad, the plot is bad, everything is bad. So like, I think AuthorTube can feel kind of like make writing a little romanticized, which like is cool, and like that's fun to watch. But writing is really hard. Like researching is hard. Yeah. Making good characters is hard. Like this is no joke, and it's also not always fun. It's also not fun sometimes. Yeah, and you have to like really force yourself to like do research and stuff.
Yeah, so, and most of the time when I'm like writing, I'm in like absolute gremlin mode. Like my spine like looks like this. It's probably so bad for my body. Yeah,
I literally have creases in my forehead from thinking like this when I'm writing. Like I'm like
No, you picking up retinol from the Sephora sale for that exactly.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, like subconsciously making the expressions that my characters are making while I'm writing it.
No, literally. I'll be like, how do you me pretending to like
oh my gosh, like acting everything out. Like, would this actually work? Yeah. Yeah, sometimes my characters are like
scenes, like
yes. Sometimes my characters are like carrying multiple things at the same time, and like while I'm writing, I'm like, wait a second. Like if they're holding this, and they have to have this in this hand, and then if they like try to do this, that doesn't work, and they have to like put it. I like way overthink it sometimes, and I have to like act it out. Yeah, it's a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah,
but,
it's literally like 90% hallucinating.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. That's so true. In terms of like the first draft like not being great, I mean, yeah, mine is so, oh my gosh, especially when I was doing revision prep and like writing down all the things that I want to change about it. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's a lot that I want to change. It's frankly slightly overwhelming, but it's okay. We're okay. Everyone's okay. And also I see people like printing out. Do you guys want to print out like a book, like a physical book of like your first draft?
I do,
yeah,
but I'm very afraid that I'm going to finish it and I'm going to be like, ugh, good enough, and send it to Staples, and then I'm going to come back to like mistyped stuff that makes no sense, and I'm going to be like, okay.
Oh
so I think I'm going to like draft 1.5. I'll get printed.
Yeah.
I'll print draft 1, but I think I'll go through it and at least like tidy it up so that like scenes exist in like in the order that I think they're supposed to be in. And
Yeah.
I don't want to say complete chapters, but I don't end a chapter on like a sentence that I never finish or a new idea that I'm like, anyway, moving on to something different. I could totally see that happening. I absolutely in university submitted a paper where I'd like moved a paragraph from one spot to another, but I forgot to delete it in the original part because I just am not a details person. I'm like a conceptual person. I'm like, this is great, but I forget to do those last checks sometimes, or at least I did at the time. My job now, if you're my work on this call, and I hope you're not, go away. But
yeah.
I actually am a details person professionally, but in my writing life and my creative life, I have such a hard time with it because so much of the energy goes into like the creating, the ideating, that when it comes to editing, like I can't do that with the same brain at the same time. It's just not happening.
It's hard to like merge those parts of yourself together.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked the idea of printing out like a physical copy of my sorry, I just lost train of thought because I just saw my mom is here. And she just asked,
Mom.
Hi, Joy's mom.
She just asked him, wondering if Clay ever dreamed about the characters in Joy's stories since they stay up late discussing her writing. So I think someone else asked about dreaming about characters, which we'll address in a second. But that just distracted me. That was really funny. Okay.
Oh my gosh, this is so wholesome.
So cute.
Okay. Anyway, so okay. What was I talking about? Oh, physical copy of first draft. Okay. I was like really wanting to do that, but then when I finished the first draft and looked back at it, I was like, I don't know if I want that in physical form. It's so not there. It's so not. It's just not what I want it to be. And so I think the second draft will be significantly more polished, and I think I'll do it for the second draft, or maybe like Emily said, like draft 1.5 or something. The way that it is right now, I'm like, I feel like I would be like more discouraged if I hadn't printed out. So yeah, I think I'm gonna wait until it's a little bit more polished, but I'm really excited. I feel like that will be like my motivator to get the second draft done though, because like I am really excited for that step in the process for sure. But speaking of that dreaming question, we can talk about that and then start our next sprint. But okay, so I guess I missed it. Clay asked if y'all have ever dreamed about your characters, and I'd also love to know if anyone else has had this experience. So have you guys dreamed about your characters?
That's where my story came from, actually.
Really? No way.
Which
that's so cool.
Like Tumblr meme of like me citing my papers. It came to me in a dream, but like actually it didn't come to me in a dream. Every story idea that I've ever had and that I've like seen to any sort of level of completion, whether it's a short story or like a snippet of a chapter of something, it's usually because I've had a dream of like either a specific feeling or an event of some kind where the stakes felt like really high while I was in it. A lot of those things end up transferring over. So like the scene that inspired this whole story, which I think I'm going to talk about this in a video at some point too. So you're getting the inside
oh my
scoop,
gosh,
everybody.
yeah, love it.
Is the catalyst of my story. So our main character, Isabel, she basically sees something that's not right in her like day-to-day life. She's like, this should not be possible. What's going on? And then when she starts to investigate that situation, she realizes like the stakes are much higher than she had thought. And she has a conversation with somebody where she realizes again that these stakes are incredibly high. And it's like that conversation where like tensions are super high. There's like an imminent threat happening while this conversation is happening. That's like a huge risk for both people involved. I'm trying to do this without like spoiling anything. Amelia's like, yeah. She's like, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Anyway, that like conversation / confrontation scene that ends up being the catalyst is like a recurring dream that I've had for probably like a year and a half.
No way.
I haven't had it like since I've started writing the book, but like I kept having it honestly like until I started it.
That's so cool.
So random, so weird. But I also at 13 I like wrote a book, which wrote a book is like maybe a strong word. But same thing, like I got the idea for that in like a dream that I had too, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So
girl, is that going to be your brand? Like your book ideas come from your dreams?
Dream, move over, that's all she wrote. Dream chaos.
I love it. That's so cool, actually. I love that so much.
Thank you.
Emily's book is just you all better hold on tight because Emily's book is like next level. Every time I hear her talk about it,
oh my gosh,
you're so good.
Sweet. Thank you.
Do I dream? No, my dreams are garbage. Just don't make sense.
Same
nonsense. I've never been one of those people who has like dreams that make sense. They're just like random, like they're like not even coherent whatsoever. I'm like, so no, but I do think like the most inspiration I get from my book is when I'm in class. Like my professor will say something, which is like, I'm gonna write this book if I'm not in school. My professor will say something, and I'll be like, okay, I need to write that down. That's where I get most of my inspiration from, and also just like, I think a lot of writers relate, like the world around you. You know, you see people do stuff or things that people have done to you. So that's where I get like inspiration from my characters or ideas about plot, but dreams, like no. I know.
Yeah, I think I saw some people saying that they haven't dreamed about characters, but they've daydreamed a lot about them, and that's me. Like I've done a ton of daydreaming specifically about my characters. So especially like I talked about earlier, running, like the way that I survive my runs is by daydreaming about my characters. Like putting them in different scenarios, like because then honestly, like then the miles just melt away and I'm like not thinking about running anymore. I'm thinking about this world that I've built, and it's kind of convenient. It's great. So yeah, definitely daydreaming. Dreaming, not so much. I relate to you, Amelia. My dreams are absolute nonsense. But with that being said, let's get into our last writing sprint, 25 minutes. We feel good about that?
Yes, sounds good.
Is everyone holding in there, or do we need to make it shorter because it's getting late? How are we feeling?
I'm all right. I'm good.
Only 8:45 where I live, so
okay,
I'm doing
sweet. Good. It's almost 11 for me, but I am fine with staying up late, so no worries. I just wanted to check in. Okay. Ready?
Okay. Perfect.
Good luck, everybody.
Good luck.
Oh, Emily, you don't have to mute if you don't want to, but just in case you want to.
Oh, shoot. Yeah. I mean, I can't.
You're totally fine. But I didn't want you to like think that you weren't muted and
Me start giving all the spoilers.
started blasting
and then
music.
This happens, and this happens. No, I'm gonna mute myself. Good call. Thank you.
Yep. Hello. Man, I really got into that. I like sort of forgot that we were streaming a
Sorry,
little bit.
didn't hear go off.
Oh no, you're totally fine. No, I like was so locked in. Oh man. Okay. That was fun. How did everyone go? Or how did it do? What? What did I just say?
How did do go first?
How did do what? Oh, also hi Anna. Good to see you. Okay.
I finished my assignment and then
Nice.
I started writing again, and I was like reading over. I have one more scene left in this chapter I'm working on, and I was reading over it and I was like, dang, this is like not horrible. This is
Oh,
really
that's the best feeling
That's
ever.
amazing.
Yes.
And it's funny because when I wrote it, I was like, this is so bad. And then now, after having a week away, I'm like, this isn't that bad. So
Yeah.
that was nice.
Yeah, see, that's the real reason I'm taking space from my first draft in Project Phoenix. I'm hoping that when I get back to it, I'm going to be like, oh, this isn't that bad.
I feel like when you're like laser focus mode onto, and you don't take space, you can really start to like distort how good or bad your book really is, So
Yeah.
I'm actually really happy that I kind of took a
so
break,
bad.
so that was nice.
Yes. Aw. How about you, Emily?
Mine was pretty good. How many words did I get? Let me just see. I got 218 that time, so 717 total for the evening, which is pretty good considering
That's
I have
so
a work day
good.
and then a 3-hour work event and made it back home in time
Yes.
for our sprint. So yeah, not too shabby.
That is a productive evening for you.
I think so.
Yeah,
It might be
seriously.
the most productive one I've had this week. So thank
That's
you
awesome.
guys for
For
the
sure.
accountability for sure.
Yes, and it looks like Margot got 749 words in the outline.
Awesome.
Finger snap,
Nice.
Margot, and Peyton got 481 words. Oh my gosh.
Okay,
Okay,
so
you
close.
better just push to that 20K, Peyton. I believe in you. You got this. Oh my gosh. That's
You're so
fun.
close.
Okay. Well, I think that's gonna be it for tonight. Oh my gosh. It was so fun to stream with you guys. Thank you, Emily and Amelia. And thank you to everyone in the chat that hung out with us and asked really good questions. This was really fun. But Emily, do you want to just let people know where they can find you? And Amelia, you can go.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Joy, for hosting. It's always a treat, honestly, to stream with you. So this has been super fun. Like I said, super productive too. You can find me here on YouTube, which I think my handle, I always mess it up. I think it's just at Emily. I think it's just at Emily H. Thompson.
Yes, I think it is.
And then, okay, perfect. I'm like, I never look at my own handle, I realize.
Yeah.
But you can find me here. I make content about my writing journey, balancing working a 9-to-5 job with the joys of writing, working on my fantasy novel. I am not sure what my next video that's coming out is going to be. I have a couple on deck basically, but I usually post on Fridays. Sometimes Friday means Saturday, sometimes it means Sunday. Usually it means Friday, but I try to post like once a week or once every 2 weeks, depending on my schedule. But you can find me here on YouTube there, and then my writing Instagram account, which I'm not super active on, but I'm hoping to be more active on it as we go into like the spring and summer, is Emily Thompson Writes. So there I just basically do like text posts and picture versions of some of the stuff I talk about in my YouTube. So if that's of interest, if you've enjoyed my unhinged thoughts from this evening, you can follow me on either of those. Would love to have you over in the community. We just hit 1,000 subscribers.
Yes.
Which is crazy.
So excited for you.
Want to join the fun? You can find me over there. But this has been so fun. Thank you so much for hosting, Joy and Amelia. It's been so fun doing a live with you. That's it from me.
Yeah, oh my gosh. So fun. This is my first live, so
yeah,
good times.
You would.
My YouTube is, which is like so crazy to say, what? I have a YouTube channel. My YouTube is written by Amelia with 2 A's at the end. I just, make vlogs and stuff. I'm new, so I don't have like that many videos, but when I graduate, my goal actually is to like do YouTube full time. So that's the goal.
Okay.
So yeah, I haven't posted too much. But and I probably won't be able to post much this last month of college because I'm like, I got too much going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm working on my novel and filming it and telling you guys what it's like. So yep. And also written by Amelia at Instagram, same thing.
Yeah. Yes. And yeah, seriously, guys, if you don't follow these two, go subscribe right this second because they're incredible. Okay. Incredible.
Thank you.
Amazing author tubers. And both of you guys are so good at aesthetic shots and editing. Oh my gosh, I swear you guys have the best eye for details and everything.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Man. Okay, my channel, you are on my channel, Write with Joy, right now. So yeah, I make YouTube videos, writing vlogs mainly, but I also sometimes talk about books and craft and that sort of thing. I also have an Instagram, Write with Joy, but with an extra Y at the end. I try to post on there, but same story. It's a little bit it's not always the priority. But I do have a video coming out, I believe this Saturday, that's talking about revision prep for Project Phoenix. So if you're interested in that, I was happy with how the video turned out, even though I was deathly ill for some of it, but it was good. It was good. But
that's
anyway,
so sad. I feel like you've been sick so much.
I know.
You were sick
bronchitis, and then I was also sick over. Yeah. I've been sick so much. It's ridiculous. I feel like I've been sick all month. But anyway, all right. Love all of you guys.
Thank you so much for being here, guys. Have a good night.
Bye.
Good night. Bye.